Who'd have thought that a superhero that dresses up like the devil could encapsulate the holidays so beautifully? Hello, Internet! Welcome to Tales of Showcase, where we fight supervillains on the regular, but we get taken out by regular street thugs. I'm your host, the Watcher of New Earth. Merry Christmas Eve's Eve, everyone! Today we're going to be looking at the first 3 issues of a Daredevil anthology series.
Published in 2013, this little story arc was written and drawn by Lee Weeks, who's best known for his work on Daredevil in the early 90s.
We've got a lot of story to cover, so let's get started. This is Daredevil Dark Nights number 1 through 3.
The prologue shows Daredevil lying down in the snow. The narrator tells of the promise that Matt Murdock made to his father, namely, not to be like him. However, Matt has since broken his promise in order to honor his father and never give up. The prologue ends and we get a rundown of Daredevil. Also, apparently, although he's blind, Matt has his other 4 senses.
Real bummer though that he doesn't have all thief.
The story opens in eastern Pennsylvania as a family prepares to go on vacation. However, early in they get in a car wreck. We skip to a week later in New York, where a huge snowstorm rages.
WHZK at the kitchen here, back on air finally. Gotta love generators. The streets are empty, folks. Airports, trains, subways, nothing's moving.
It's almost like I don't have anything to talk about, but I get paid by the hour, so here we are.
Outside a hospital, medics bring in a mugging victim. It's revealed to be Matt Murdock, who has been knocked unconscious. He begins to wake up, however, but seems to be confused as to where he is. This isn't helped by his heightened hearing, which is picking up every voice in the hospital, which is causing him a lot of pain. They're able to get him back under. We then cut to a while ago where it's shown that Matt had fallen asleep reading the Bible at work. He wakes up and heads out. When he faces the cold, he says he wishes he had a Stark-designed suit, preferably something thermal.
Well, if he can give Parker a comic-accurate suit, I'm sure he can spring for one for you.
Back in Pennsylvania, the family from before is mourning over their child, who is now on life support and fading fast. They decide to pull the plug on their son in an attempt to donate his heart to a little girl in New York. Meanwhile, Matt continues to walk home. However, he is stopped by potential muggers. He makes short work of them, but the snow has interfered with his powers, and he doesn't sense the third mugger, who takes him from behind. Now unconscious, Matt lies in the snow as people pass by and disregard him. His ID also gets covered by the snow. Soon, however, a homeless man arrives and picks up Matt, presumably being the man who got him to the hospital in the first place. In Pennsylvania, 2 medics board a helicopter. They plan to take the transplant heart to New York despite the ongoing snowstorm. Back in the present at the hospital, one of the aides offers to unlock Matt's briefcase, but tells the doctor, Kate, that if he does, she has to go to a basketball game with him the following week.
Blackmail, the starting point to any healthy relationship.
Daredevil pretends to be asleep as this exchange goes on. He overhears about a little girl who needs a heart that is being transported to New York. He gets up as it's revealed that the helicopter has gone down. Matt says that he can help just as the guy unlocks the case, revealing the Daredevil suit. They go to the roof as Daredevil says that he heard the copter go down near the Hudson River.
So just to be clear, he couldn't hear a third mugger sneak up on him because of the snow, but when the storm is still raging outside and he's surrounded by hundreds of voices, he can clearly hear a helicopter go down miles away. Sure, makes sense to me.
Daredevil leaps off the building, planning to retrieve the heart. Due to his fatigued state, however, he misses his mark and falls, leading us to his position in the prologue. But the narrator repeats the never giving up line, and Matt stands up, more determined than ever.
I wonder if this is how he dealt with his movie failure.
Moving on to the next issue, we open at the garage of Johnny Cruz, a small-time criminal who Matt cleared of murder charges a few years back. Johnny's being confronted by men of Victor Lanza, a man he hasn't paid back. Daredevil is nearby, but, much to his regret, he has to focus on the little girl's heart. This leaves him to face his guilt on abandoning someone in need, and makes him feel extremely powerless.
This is honestly why I love reading about street-level heroes. I mean, it's easy to look at someone like Thor or Superman raise an island out of the ocean and look at yourself and say, well, what could I do? But instead, they go out there, dressed as a devil, a spider, a beetle, or even as a bat. There's something really inspiring about looking how insignificant you could be and deciding to make a change regardless.
Back at the hospital, Hannah, the little girl that needs a heart, is surrounded by her family. Her father, however, is quickly becoming hysterical with the knowledge that the copter has gone down. While the doctor tells him to calm down and let the hospital work on getting the heart, he decides to take matters into his own hands. Elsewhere in the hospital, Paco and Kate, the 2 from before, cover Matt's tracks, ensuring that no one will be able to uncover his secret identity.
Paco even gives up his Knicks tickets in order to get the security footage. Nothing really says Christmas spirit like sacrificing a potential date to save a stranger.
Daredevil continues to trudge through the snow, his exhaustion quickly catching up to him. However, he snaps out of it once he smells kerosene. Sure enough, he finds the helicopter near the Hudson River. He quickly rushes to the ruin that it crashed onto. However, as he reaches it, it falls into the river. Faced with no other option, he plunges in after it.
Well, nice form.
Daredevil is able to rescue the pilot, but when they reach the surface, she says that her co-pilot is dead. Daredevil, however, has heard a second heartbeat. When he goes down, however, it turns out that the co-pilot is in fact dead. It's revealed that the beat belongs to the donor heart. He grabs it and makes it back to the surface. Wasting no time, he immediately sets out. However, at a nearby women's shelter, a woman is about to be raped at gunpoint. Daredevil, being a decent human being, can't stand by for this one and breaks in, scaring the crap out of the guy. Daredevil tells him to get out, and the guy literally jumps out of the window.
Okay, plus 2 badass points for Daredevil.
The woman attempts to thank Daredevil, but he simply stands there. Suddenly he collapses and the woman rushes out to get help. And elsewhere, Hannah's father has called in a favor from the Kingpin to retrieve the heart.
Because yeah, when I need someone to rescue a heart for me, I immediately call the nearest crime lord.
The final issue begins with Hannah flatlining, only to be brought back. Her parents are understandably on edge, but the doctor lets them know that they have reason to believe that the heart is on its way. Meanwhile, it's shown that now there is a guy in a coat transporting the heart. Apparently, the heart case has a tracker which is being traced by numerous agencies, including what appears to be Colonel Nick Fury. Meanwhile, the man in the coat is cornered and taken by a bunch of mystery men. Then we get a retelling of Daredevil's past with his narration. We then get to his past loves.
Oh yeah, for those of you that think that Batman and Wolverine have the most dead love interests, Matt could give them a real run for their money.
It seems like Matt is trying to save Hannah in an effort to make up for the women he's caused the death of. Suddenly, Hannah leads zombified versions of the women to Matt, causing him to wake up.
This zombie dream only exists to remind me that Christmas and Halloween are becoming more synonymous, doesn't it?
Matt wakes up in the shelter from before. He immediately notices that the heart is gone and begins to ask for it. The women tell him that the man who runs the shelter took it and plans to deliver it. However, Layla, the lady Matt saved, says that he was really cut up and muttering the name Lanza. Matt realizes that Johnny Cruz, the guy from before, must have taken it in an attempt to get a reward. Daredevil, now angrier than before, sets out. Johnny, however, has been kidnapped and is receiving another beating. This time, however, it's because he won't tell them where Daredevil is. It's also revealed that Johnny is not the one who owes Lanza money, but rather he took on the debt to protect someone. Matt overhears all of this and decides that Johnny has legitimately turned over a new leaf. Matt rescues him and the heart and gets out of there. However, the Kingpin's men begin to give chase, but are halted almost immediately by S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that were called in by Fury. With all obstacles out of the way, Daredevil makes it to the hospital, with the heart and Johnny in tow. With his mission complete, he turns to leave, but Johnny calls him back. Apparently, Johnny heard Matt talking in his sleep, saying that saving Hannah was like paying a debt. Johnny tells him there's no way to outdo past sin, because it's already been paid for. And with that, Johnny is out. And the story ends with Matt hidden away, listening to the surgery, and finally relaxing as the heart begins to beat.
And that was Daredevil, Dark Knights number 1 through 3. And it was a beautiful story.
Never mind the brilliant storytelling and amazing artwork, this book exceeds on multiple levels. It stands great as a superhero story, with enough action and leaping off buildings to appease anyone. It also works great as a character study, showing Matt's struggle to come to terms with all the trauma that has occurred in his life and how he attempts to make up for it. And even though it's not really a Christmas story, it does a great job of showing the kindness and caring that people will show to save a life. Overall, this story shows why the Man Without Fear has earned his place as one of the world's greatest superheroes.
If you're a Daredevil fan, I highly recommend these books. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Tales to Showcase. As always, thank you for joining me and I'll see you next time. This is the Watcher of New Earth, signing off.
Hey, dude. Sorry for leaving you home alone for Christmas. I got you something, though. Figured the new year was a great time for a new intro. Your doppelganger.